Boss fires single dad before Christmas, then company gets bought by his brother. The snow had started falling just after dawn, the soft kind that made the city feel quieter than it really was. Daniel Harper stood outside the glass doors of Norcrest Logistics, rubbing his hands together for warmth while rehearsing what he'd say in the meeting upstairs. He didn't know yet that this would be the last time he'd walk into the building as an employee. Daniel was a single dad to 8-year-old Lily. Every morning before work, he braided her hair with clumsy fingers and promised he'd be home in time to help decorate their tiny apartment for Christmas. Money was tight, but hope had a stubborn way of staying with him. He believed that if he worked hard enough, things would eventually turn around. The meeting invitation had come late the night before. Mandatory. 9 a.m. No explanation. His manager, Victor Kane, was known for his cold efficiency and lack of patience for anything that didn't increase quarterly profits. Still, Daniel told himself it was probably about year-end targets or scheduling. Inside the conference room, Victor didn't bother offering a seat. He stood by the window, arms crossed, the city stretched out behind him like a trophy. "Daniel," Victor said flatly, "I'll get straight to the point. We're restructuring. Your position is being eliminated." The words hit harder than the winter air outside. "Eliminated," Daniel repeated. "It's 3 days before Christmas." Victor shrugged. "Timing is unfortunate, but business doesn't stop for holidays. You'll receive 2 weeks severance. HR will handle the paperwork." Daniel swallowed. "Sir, I've exceeded every target this year. I've never missed a deadline." Victor finally turned to face him, eyes sharp and dismissive. "Performance isn't the issue. You're replaceable. Security will escort you out." That was it. No handshake, no apology. Just like that, Daniel was no longer employed. He packed his desk in silence, his coworkers avoiding his gaze. As he stepped back into the snow, a single thought echoed in his mind: how am I going to tell Lily? That night, Daniel sat at the small kitchen table while Lily colored reindeer at the other end. He forced a smile, keeping his voice light as he explained that Daddy would be home more for a while. She looked up at him with wide, trusting eyes. "That's okay," she said cheerfully. "We can make Christmas cookies together." He nodded, turning away so she wouldn't see the fear creeping into his expression. What Victor didn't know, what almost no one knew, was that Daniel had a brother. Ethan Harper had left home at 18, chasing ambitions that felt too big for their small town. While Daniel stayed behind to care for their ailing parents, Ethan built something extraordinary. Over the years, his name quietly became synonymous with smart investments and bold acquisitions. The brothers hadn't grown apart, just busy, each respecting the other's path. 2 days before Christmas, Daniel finally called him. "I didn't want to bother you," Daniel said, voice low. I got laid off." There was a pause on the other end. "From Norcrest?" Ethan asked calmly. "Yes." Another pause, shorter this time. "Come have Christmas with us," Ethan said. "And don't worry, I'll handle it." Daniel didn't ask what that meant. On Christmas Eve, Victor Kane was still in his office, reviewing financial projections. The board had been nervous for weeks. Rumors of a potential buyout were circulating, but Victor was confident. Norcrest was strong, untouchable. His phone buzzed. An emergency board meeting was being called. By noon, Victor sat at the long mahogany table, his confidence slowly eroding as lawyers and executives filed in. A man at the head of the table stood in. Cleared his throat. "Ladies and gentlemen," the man announced, "Norcrest Logistics has officially been acquired." Victor's heart dropped. "By who?" The doors opened. Ethan Harper walked in, composed, his presence commanding without effort. He smiled politely as he took his seat. "I'll be brief," Ethan said. "Effective immediately, I am the majority owner and CEO of this company." Victor stared, recognition flickering in his eyes as the last name settled in. After the meeting, Ethan requested a private conversation. Victor tried to regain his composure. "Mr. Harper, congratulations. I look forward to working under your leadership." Ethan studied him quietly. "Do you remember firing an employee named Daniel Harper 3 days ago?" Victor's face went pale. Yes, that was a business decision. So was this," Ethan replied evenly. "I value loyalty, empathy, and leadership. You demonstrated none of those." By the end of the day, Victor Kane was unemployed. The following Monday, Daniel received a call from an unfamiliar number. "Daniel Harper," the voice asked. "This is HR from Norcrest Logistics. We'd like to discuss your reinstatement, along with a promotion." Daniel laughed softly, thinking it had to be a mistake. It wasn't. He returned to the building not as a disposable employee, but as director of operations, with a salary that finally allowed him to breathe. More importantly, he walked in with his head held high. That evening, Daniel and Lily stood by their small Christmas tree, lights glowing warmly. "Daddy," Lily said, hugging him tight, "this was the best Christmas ever." Daniel smiled, realizing something profound. Justice hadn't come with anger or revenge. It had come quietly, wrapped in family, timing, and the reminder that kindness, and blood, run deeper than power.